All right, so I came across an article the other day, and I talked about it on the podcast last night, but I wanted to put it out there in case some of you guys didn't catch the podcast, and just kind of get your opinions and see what you guys think about this. Now, in the article, I think it was on guns.com, it was talking about how there's a guy who actually works for the Truth About Guns, the website Truth About Guns. I think he's one of the editors, lives in the Austin area. He went into an Austin bakery. Now, apparently he'd been to this bakery before. Apparently there had been issues before in the past because this bakery a couple years ago put up what we in Texas call a 30-06 sign. It's 30.06. And it's basically the state-approved official sign you have to put up in your place of business if you don't want people conceal carrying on your property. And apparently when they first put that sign up, he made a big stink about it and was very vocal and said, "I'll never shop here again," all that kind of stuff. So they remembered who this guy was. He comes back in to buy some baked goods. He is conceal carrying. They can see the bulge under his shirt. They call the police because I guess they didn't know, was he here to make trouble because he'd been very vocal in the past, what was going on, that kind of thing. So they call the police show up and basically just ask him to leave. That's all they do. The consequences for doing what he did are basically just, they ask you to leave, you leave. If you don't leave, there can be consequences like fines, and I think there's a ticket. And I think if you're belligerent about it, you can have your carry license removed. I don't know. I've never taken it that far. I wouldn't do that. I don't do business with places that don't allow concealed carry. Personally, myself, that's how I feel about it. So anyway, they ask him to leave. He leaves. He apologizes, whatever. Everything's said and done. Now, what I found interesting about this particular story is here we have a clear-cut case where the law has allowed a business owner to not do business with somebody based on that business owner's beliefs and the beliefs of the customer in this particular case, or the person who was denied service. Now, doesn't this all sound very familiar, except twisted just a little bit? I mean, we all remember the baker who got sued for not baking a cake for a gay wedding, the florist who got sued for not creating a floral arrangement for a gay wedding. We have a situation where some people's beliefs are protected as business owners, and they can refuse service to people based on those beliefs, but other business owners' beliefs are not protected. And I know some people who are pro-gay marriage or gay rights activists or something like that are going to come along and say, well, being gay's not a choice. I understand that argument, and that's a completely separate thing from what I'm talking about here, because in every case where a baker got sued or a florist got sued, these people had consistently been customers of the florist or the baker, and they were never denied service before. So it had nothing to do with the fact that they're gay. It had to do with the fact that they wanted that business owner to, in some way, shape, or form, take part in their ceremony. And that's where the line was drawn. So it had nothing to do with them being gay. It had to do with the ceremony itself. The ceremony was a choice. They made a choice to get married. They made a choice to have a ceremony. They made a choice to walk into that particular florist or bakery and request goods and services from this particular person. They made a choice. The same way that if you roll into a place that you know has a big sign that says, "We don't like people with guns here," right? You made a choice to go ahead and go in there. And if you get denied service because you're doing something that business owner doesn't believe in, then you have to leave. And I find it very interesting that basically what we're talking about here is liberal-leaning laws. We're talking about laws that really only cover people on one side of the political spectrum in this country, give or take. I understand there are some liberals who are pro-gun, and there are some conservatives that are, pro-gay marriage. I understand it's not quite the same thing, but it is more or less a left-leaning political issue when you're talking about gay rights. But yet, at the same time, we restrict the rights, quote-unquote restrict, of gun owners who just want to go and, buy a donut or something, right? Now, I'm libertarian. I personally believe that a business owner should be able to turn away anybody for any reason. I think these people in Austin, although I would never shop there because I disagree with them not wanting people to be able to defend themselves on their property, I think they had every right to ask this guy to leave. And at the same time, I think a baker has every right to say, "I don't want to bake that cake. I'll make you any other cake for anything else, whatever, but that particular thing, that one choice you're making, I don't agree with. I just can't do that one thing." I completely 100% fall in that category of just true libertarianism, right? And if a company or a business is going to start denying people service for stupid reasons, they're going to suffer the consequences. They're going to lose business for making those choices, but it should be their choice to make. But I do find it interesting that we've written laws that protect some people and their ability to just get goods and services from whoever they want, but not others. And it's an interesting little bit of hypocrisy, I think, when it comes to our laws and what is and isn't protected, both from the side of the business owner and from the side of the potential customer, right? We protect some potential customers' choices that they want to make, and we force these business owners to go ahead and do something they may not want to do. And at the same time, other business owners are allowed to deny service to people who are simply, partaking in a natural born right, a constitutional right. You know what I mean? It seems like a good bit of hypocrisy as far as I'm concerned. Now, like I said, I don't care on this particular issue either way. I just say don't do business with people who don't want to do business with you, and walk away and be done with it. I can understand if you're talking about a business that has a monopoly on a certain good or product or service, and then, people would be hard pressed to go somewhere else to find that. I understand that. But when you're talking about bakeries and flower shops and things like this, they should be able to just turn away whoever they want for any reason. Oh, I don't like the way you looked at me. Get out. I don't care, right? I mean, isn't that true liberty and freedom? And it goes both ways. It goes for people who are anti-gun and people who are anti-gay marriage. It goes for, people who don't like you. Oh, you're wearing a pro-life T-shirt. Get out of my establishment. You're wearing a pro-choice T-shirt. Get out of my establishment. It goes all ways when you just allow people the freedom to choose what they want to do with their businesses, with their lives. Okay? So that's how I feel about it. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this is a similar situation where somebody being forced to make a cake that is based on something they disagree with should be treated the same way that somebody who is a business owner can deny service to somebody who's carrying a gun in their establishment? I certainly think so. I think those two should be in the same category. Either you force everybody to do business with everybody else, or you let these businesses make their choice, their own choice across the board with who they want to do business with. You really shouldn't be able to have it both ways, just based purely on one political side's point of view, which is basically what we're talking about here. We're talking about the side that is anti-gun and pro-gay marriage is getting what they want, and the other side isn't getting anything they want. So that's the way I feel about it. Let me know in the comment section what you think about it, and we will talk to you guys later. Thanks.